If the initial leak and subsequent announcement of Star Wars Squadron piqued your interest, then join the club. Over the last several months, we've been getting a fairly steady stream of information about the upcoming Star Wars space combat game, Star Wars Squadron, and much of it has been encouraging, generating more interest with each and every new drop of details that have been released. Most who played Battlefront 2 and stuck with it long enough to get their hands on the space combat expansion could see the massive amount of potential there, and it appears that EA Motive is intent on realizing that potential into a full game revolving around the various spacefaring vehicles from both the major hemispheres of Star Wars conflict. Of course, we can't get to a final verdict on it until it's out and we have a chance to really see if it soars or plummets out of the sky. But until then, there are plenty of good reasons for fans of Star Wars, or dogfighting games generally, a criminally underrepresented genre these days, to be excited for this. And much like a single shot from a Rebel X-Wing taking out the Death Star with one well-placed shot, Star Wars Squadrons might be poised to wildly exceed our expectations. Obviously, a dogfighting DLC for a separate game that shows potential is a very different thing than an entire game based around it. One quick ride on a roller coaster is not the same as owning the entire theme park. Given that, Star Wars Squadrons seems to understand that things need fleshed out and the experience needs to feel full. Despite it probably not aiming to match the 20 to 30 hour single-player campaigns of many other games coming out this year, Squadrons is laser-focused on the overall quality of the experience, with a fully realized game, with a campaign and multiplayer, and the ability to play Rebels or Imperial forces. This is great news for a number of types of gamers, as those who played Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order have been waiting for the next big-budget Star Wars experience for a while now, and fans of space combat games generally have been waiting since, well, Everspace. Fans of a combination of both of those things have been waiting much longer. All three of these appetites should be addressed with this game, and as a result, it will likely sell quite well. And if it gets that EA polish that we can expect from their bigger games, it should review well also. If Squadrons can stick the landing, it would follow that at least a round or two of expansions and maybe even a direct sequel could be expected in the not-too-distant future. This is all great news for the game and fans of it. One thing that these space-fighting games can learn from the modern gaming mentality and expectations is to implement a nice sense of customization, and Star Wars Squadron seems to understand this very well. Here we'll have highly customizable ships with changeable internal cockpit items, external skins, as well as a healthy selection of pilot models to choose from. These customizations might not reinvent the wheel, but they will go a long way to making players feel a sense of ownership over their X-Wings and TIE fighters. And that is a big part of what gamers want out of these sorts of games these days. Feeling like your ship is really yours and being unlikely to come across any duplicates not only rewards players as they progress through the game, but it also helps ensure the online player base sticks around long after the initial launch. This, if implemented well, could be one of the absolutely biggest reasons that the game does well, and perhaps outperforms other similar games this year in a number of ways. With a healthy dose of customization comes a wide array of weapon types and shields that you can earn in the game that will further tweak your stargazing death machine to your liking. In Star Wars Squadron, customization is not only limited to the superficial, but also EA Motive is going out of their way to make sure that you can upgrade your offensive elements as well as defensive elements with more weapon types and shields that have varying effects on your overall performance in battle. It's a good sign that this level of and attention to customization is in the game. The icing on the proverbial cake? Here, all of these customizations, upgrades, and what have you will be attainable via traditional gameplay-based progression systems and not microtransactions. And what's more, there aren't even going to be any loot boxes. This is of course not saying they won't change things later, but for now it looks like EA Motive is on the right path with this game, at least when it comes to how you progress and which method the game wants to disperse new things to the player and reward them. A good sign on top of other previously mentioned good signs. The multiplayer isn't going to be a random mishmash of different concepts either, but rather we'll be seeing two distinct modes. fleet battles, and dogfights. Both of these have similar setups, but ultimately work out very differently. Dogfighting is going to resemble more of a typical deathmatch format that we've seen before, and thus its existence makes perfect sense as a basic mode that anyone can jump into and out of. Secondly is the more in-depth fleet battles, which will have much more going on. Here you'll be trying to annihilate your enemy's main ship by dismantling its defenses and aggressively firing on it as it is your ultimate goal, all while defending your own side and occasionally having to retreat and defend your flagship as needed. It's not too complex, but perhaps that could be a strength for the mode, as it seems like the skill needed to get involved is low, yet to master it might be a totally different beast altogether. With these modes being the entry point of the game, one could expect additional modes to be released later on, depending on how much traction the community is able to get and maintain. Of course, we can't talk about the multiplayer aspect of Star Wars Squadrons without mentioning the game's crossplay functionality. This will allow players from different consoles, PC, and even VR to all play together in one united community. The benefits of this for Squadrons could prove to be limitless and essential for the longevity of the community, while crossplay does have its drawbacks, and it is arguable that PC players and perhaps VR players might end up with advantages in certain situations. The option to engage with this wider, more inclusive community is still overall a good one, as it will ensure that lobbies stay full and the community remains active for much longer than other games that are segmented and divided by platform. Yes, VR will be compatible with the game across the board. This is another group of gamers, the VR enthusiasts, that will be catered to by this one game, further extending the game's reach and viability in today's diverse market. There are plenty of other reasons why Star Wars Squadrons is promising to outflank many of its competitors in 2020 and beyond, such as its release date of October 2nd, which beats many of 2020's other games, which are releasing in November and December, as well as the $40 price tag, which, in the face of a potential price hike for next-gen games, is going to look even sweeter as time rolls on and these new games start launching. Despite Squadrons being a fairly niche concept in today's gaming landscape, it seems intent on and capable of reaching out to a fairly wide audience of different tastes and persuasions. As a result of that, and EA's ability to deliver high-quality games with excellent production values and massive marketing budgets, I think its competitors might be wise to brace for impact.
That's it for this video. If you enjoyed and would like to see more, feel free to hit that subscribe button and hit the notification bell to ensure you'll be notified when new videos go up.